Hey everyone, we are still in our powerlifting unit. We are moving on to our bench press today. Even if you think you know how to do a bench press, make sure that you're paying attention to the specifics of this because in powerlifting, they are very strict on what is and what is not allowed. Right? So I'm going to refer to the 5 points of contact a couple times. So what I'm talking about that is contacts with the bench or the floor. So your points of contact are your feet, your butt, your shoulder blades, and your head. All right, so that sounds like four, but each foot counts separately. So both feet have to remain planted. Your butt needs to be in contact with the bench. Your shoulder blades have to be in contact with the bench, and your head has to be in contact with the bench as well. All right, so I am using the same bar that I used in the last video. Again, you can use any kind of straight bar that's about four feet long. So a broom, a mop, anything that you have around the house. If you absolutely don't have anything, then just pretend. So for my bench, I used a couple coolers that I pushed together. You can use some cinder blocks that you have. If you happen to have a bench, like a picnic bench or something like that, you could use. Or you can just do it on the floor. You don't actually need a bench. I'm just doing it for the purpose of the video. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate how to do the bench press. Again, focus on the 5 points of contact and pay attention to how I perform it. All right, so this is my makeshift bench. Just have a couple coolers here. So again, the bar would actually be racked in an actual powerlifting meet. They would give a command that you could start. You could use a spotter to lift it off the rack, or you could do it on your own. It's up to the preference of the person. You want your hand placement to be wherever you feel comfortable. Again, you can go as narrow as shoulder width. You don't want to go any more narrow than that because you'll be at a disadvantage. Or you could go out a lot wider. The wider you go, right, the less distance you have to cover on the way down. So a lot of power lifters, they go out really wide so that their arms don't have to move down as much. Remember, the full focus of this exercise is to make the lift. So you have to make contact and then bring it back up. So they're not worried about specific muscle groups. They're just worried about moving the weight from point A to point B. So again, I unrack the weight. I'm going to make sure that my points of contact are down. So 1 foot, 2 foot, my butt is planted, shoulder blades planted, and my head is on the bench. They have to remain planted at all points of time. At no point can I lift my head, can I lift my butt, can I lift my feet, or I would be disqualified from that lift. That lift would not count. So a couple maneuvers that powerlifters use in order to make it to their advantage is they might tuck their feet in. In some lifts, and some federations, it is allowed as long as some part of your foot is planted. It's okay. In others, your heels have to be planted. So I'm going to demonstrate with my heels planted. They usually tuck them in so much so that it looks uncomfortable that their feet are actually under their butt. All right. So they pull in their legs. You do not have to do this, but it's just a strategy that they use. They also pull in their shoulder blades real tight. Notice my back lifted up off the bench, but my butt is still planted. So that is still good. So my back does not have to be in contact. Shoulder blades do, head does, butt does, and feet do. All right. So as long as those points are there, you are good. So for the actual lift, you only have to bring the bar down until it touches your chest and then back to the top position. So one of the benefits of tucking in your shoulder blades is that your chest is risen, so you don't have to go down as far, right? And then back to the top. So in an actual competitive lift, they would tell you to start, you would drop down to your chest, and you would have to wait for them to say good or lift, and then you can bring it back. So for that time, you are resting on your chest. When they say lift, then you lift, and then you can re-rack the weight once they give you that command. So I would clear the bar off the rack. They would say start, lift, good, re-rack. That would be the entire lift. So again, focusing on my 5 points of contact, 2 feet, butt on the bench, shoulder blades on the bench, head on the bench the entire time. Complete lift. All right, practice that a few times, get a good feel for it. Again, I know it's not going to be the same because you don't have any weights, you don't have the proper equipment, but I just want you to get a feel for it. So whenever you do get back in the gym, whenever gyms reopen, whenever you do have access to this equipment, you can actually practice these skills. All right, until next time.